What's crackalackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So, back again, we're going to be ranking the edge rushing class. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below and who you think should be where. Go ahead, become a bro, and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you thoroughly enjoy the content. And I got some news. I'm going to be collaborating with actually quite a few different football content creators, but the Fantasy Football Counselor, you're probably aware of him. He's putting together something this week that's available to basically first come first serve. He's going to be doing a open discussion with a bunch of us content creators, and you're going to see it on the screen, but it's going to be happening this Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is 5 o'clock my time. Oh boy. But yeah, this is he's got some big plans for the future about getting a bunch of us to come together and collaborate, and it's a move that I'm hoping will really help grow the channel. So ultimately I have more time to not just devote time to content, but to do content maybe with you guys, because that's a big issue right now for me. Is it's just time, like, because I do all my own editing, all my own templates, I gotta do the research, and then it's just very time consuming, especially with the amount of content I'm trying to push out. So yeah, man, first come first serve. Links in the description below if that's something you want to come check out. It ought to be a blast. And again, always, like I said, I got a bunch of content I'm pushing on the channel. These rankings, I'm hoping to have the free agency video out for you tonight or tomorrow. And we got the individual mock drafts. I'm working on the 7-round mock draft. The potential Rams Texans trades really screwing that up, because I just got through like doing the 4th round, because I'm really trying to set down the time to take a look and like realistically think where these teams may and may not go. And that trade, it won't screw me too bad, but it's ticking me off. Let's go ahead. Let's just dive in to this edge rushing class. I'm giving you a top 20. Yeah, a top 20, because typically I think it's about a little over 20 to 25 edge rushers are selected, at least over the past 5 years in the draft on average. And we're going to start with 20 with Kenny Willix out of Michigan State. He's been dominant in the Big Ten, but I do have concerns with his play, at least his play strength and his athleticism as far as translating to the NFL. I still love the guy's motor, and honestly, if he could maybe develop a little bit of better hand technique or a bit better use with his hands, then I think he's going to be a quality starter or rotation player. At the very least, he's going to be a very good run defender in the league. I got Jonathan Garvin out of DU. It's my favorite college team, if you didn't know. He looks the part of a top-end pass rusher with his size, his length, but he's a very hot and cold prospect, very hot and cold pass rusher. There's a ton of red flags when it comes to his effort, his motor. So that's why I got him down here in the 5th. Then I got Jabari Zuniga out of Florida. He has a tons of physical intangibles, and I expected him to explode the combine, and he did that. So a lot of teams are probably going to put him very high on their board, but I think the dude's fool's gold. He only has a few pass rush moves in his arsenal, and I really don't think he's unable to win on the outside. He does a lot of his damage on the inside. I mean, so much so Florida even kicked him on the inside multiple times this year. I still think there's a lot to like about him. Like I said, physical intangibles, you can't teach that type of stuff. But probably where he's going to land late day 2, early day 3, that's not something I'd be willing to pursue. Then Anthony Jennings out of Alabama. I kind of find myself feeling very similar to how I feel about Zuniga. Jennings, I mean, I think he's ultimately, I just think he's gonna get overdrafted. I think he would have benefited from basically dropping some weight and trying to be an off the ball linebacker, but that wasn't the case, at least how he weighed in. Guy's still carrying, he's almost 260. So I don't know if that boat's necessarily sailed. I mean, he could always translate into that later on in his career, or at least try to in the beginning of his career, but I don't know. He has incredible power, great length, but he really does lack the explosion, and he's probably going to be limited to a base 4.3. So he's going to clog up passing lanes, like visually for the quarterback, with that length. Bit of a concern with the knee injury in 2018. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but he'll probably sneak into day 2. And then I got DERREK TUSZKA. I believe that's how you say it. But this guy, he really put on a show at the combine, and he was very dominant in the Missouri Valley Conference. Athletically, he's very intriguing, but I think he's a stand-up passer or a stand-up pass rusher only, just because of the size. The dude lacks size and lacks build, but I just don't think he's going to be able to put his hand in the dirt. I don't think he has enough power to do that either, so I think this guy's a stand-up rusher only. And then on to 15 through 11, we're talking Anthony Highsmith out of Charlotte. I find him very similar to DERREK. He's ideally going to be a stand-up rusher in a 3-4 scheme. He plays with a high motor. He plays really fast. He's got a really sick spin move, but he does have trouble disengaging from blocks. So like if he gets tangled up in a block, he's basically stuck there. He's dead on the play. Then Khalid Kareem out of Notre Dame, one of my favorite prospects in here, or at least favorite day 3 guys. He's never going to really win with speed, but it's adequate enough. The guy's strong enough to line up in the A and the B gaps, making him very versatile. The guy could be a chess piece in general for any defensive coordinator. He'll be a solid NFL player, but I don't know if he has much of a ceiling with that. And then Alton Robinson, another guy I really like. First things first, let's talk about, probably you're going to see this a bunch online on some draft websites, about character red flags with this guy, and it stems from something he did when he was a senior in high school. He basically stole his ex-girlfriend's cell phone. He was dumb, he was young, it actually cost him a scholarship at Texas A&M. Since then, he's been squeaky clean, so as far as all that, I kind of like, it's expunged from my memory. But the guy, he's a very raw talent. He's got a very explosive first step, really good speed, but he did struggle at the Senior Bowl practices and one-on-ones, especially when trying to use his hands to get free. And you kind of see that from this past season, that he struggled really against the Power 5 teams when they had to face those guys. However, the dude, he is an utter monster. I think he's going to be best suited early in his career as a 5-10 technique, maybe in a Y9 alignment. And then we got Darrell Taylor out of Tennessee. Taylor, he put on the weight for the Senior Bowl, coming in at almost 260. He had a really hot end to finish the season, but from what I've read, most scouts are concerned that he exclusively lined up on the right side, which is kind of important because unlike the NFL, college football still adheres to this traditionally putting their best tackle or their best tackles on the left. Now, I'm not saying that's the case for all teams, but more times than not. But he was facing the SEC. All those guys are really good, so I don't think that's a big concern for me. I mean, essentially, that's the best of the best, man. The SEC, it's the best conference. I don't know what to tell you. But this guy was once thought to be a future first-round pick. I think back in 2018, you'd see like future mock drafts put him in the first round. And the dude's coming off a very good year. Jonathan GREENARD out of Florida, man, you gotta love this guy's motor. He has a never quit attitude. He battled a wrist injury in his final year at Louisville, and then he was a grad transfer to Florida. I love him deciding to go to a program that's consistently bringing in incredibly talented recruits. I mean, just look at the last 2 years or even this year, Jabari Zuniga. Last year you had Ja'Kai Polite. I know he's not in the NFL anymore, but still, he was a 3rd rounder. So I like him going there and deciding to battle out with a very talented, or at least a program that typically brings in extremely talented prospects. The guy, he's really good at setting the edge, and he shows off a lot of power. Still developing in regards to technique, but GREENARD, he really made the most of his time this season in Florida. Doesn't really have a natural bend around the corner, so I don't know if he ever will. He might just be really a power rusher. And then Trevis Gibson out of Tulsa is a guy I really like. I think he really helped his stock at the Senior Bowl. 6'3", 261. He has a really good frame, good bend around the edge. He does need a little work with technique, and part of that's kind of Tulsa's to blame for that. But he displays a very good set of pass rush moves, even despite Tulsa's scheme typically being a run contain heavy scheme. He was typically playing run, he was typically trying to contain the run most of the time. That's what they asked him to do. You see that from TCU's defensive line, or at least their prospects. So again, I like the potential. I like the upside. Bradley Anae out of Utah. We all know the guy's limited as an athlete, but that's not where he wins. He has the best hands in this draft. He destroyed Washington's Trey Adams, USC's Austin Jackson, who's getting first round hype this season, and both, like I said, regardless, as very talented tackle prospects. He was a beast in the Senior Bowl. He was a beast in the Senior Bowl game. Despite the limitations as an athlete, there's still value in his skill set in the NFL. I kind of give him a comp to Jabral Sheard, the guy that he's with. I think he's still with the Colts right now, but he's kind of been a journeyman with the Patriots too, and he's had a very fine career, and I think Anae could kind of replicate that. Then Terrell Lewis out of Alabama, very strong lower half. He's got 34, I think just a little bit under 40-inch arms, and I mean they really because of that, he has a very strong bull rush. I think he is easily was the best defender for Alabama last season, and I'd like to see him deploy more pass rush moves. You kind of could tell at the Senior Bowl that there's not a lot in that toolbox of pass rush moves, at least during the one-on-ones. He's another pass rusher with these elite traits, but lacks production. Part of that because of the injury red flags with him. But that's kind of the theme of this edge class. You see a lot of elite traits, but there's not a lot of production to support it. Then we got Yatir Gross-Matos. He steadily improved year after year. He has developed into that 6'5" frame very well, but he can be a dominant edge rusher, but I think he's still got a ways to go. The thing is, he's got a pretty high ceiling. I don't think he's too far off, but he's still a developmental prospect. But be that one with a very high upside. Then I got Joshua Uche. This dude's one of my favorite prospects in the draft. He's a bit undersized at 245. Yeah, 245. But he stole my heart at the Senior Bowl. I like his ability to win with speed on the edge and his maneuverability on the inside against like guards and centers. He showcased incredible strength, backing down the likes of Matt Pert from UConn, who's getting a lot of hype right now, and then Tristan Wirfs himself. What I didn't expect, at least from the Senior Bowl, was him to drop back into coverage. He looked actually very polished in coverage. And you could easily move this guy to off-ball linebacker because he offers a ton of blitz potential. I just really, really love Uche. And then we got Julian Akawara starting our top 5 here. He didn't get to participate in the drills at the combine, but he's extremely strong. He had an impressive bull rush, and he pairs that with very good speed. Now, he hasn't been really consistent throughout his career. This season, almost all of his production came in the Virginia game. Still, he passes the eye test. The guy's a tremendous athlete. And then I got Lavon Chason out of LSU. Gotta love that name. Chason, he's a very similar prospect to Okawara. I think they're very similar athletically. He lacks the production, though, despite his tremendous upside as an athlete. Reason I got him higher than Okawara is while Chason isn't that consistent either, he still, I think, has more impressive wins on film against the likes of Andrew Thomas and Samuel Cosme. By comparison, Okawara, he struggled outright in his matchups against Andrew Thomas, as well as Mekhi Becton. And then Curtis Weaver, man, y'all can hate. I love Curtis Weaver. If you've been around the channel for a little bit, you know I'm a fan. I'm a fanboy for Curtis Weaver. I mean, this guy, he made a living just feasting on the Mountain West. And I don't think that's a knock on him because you're supposed to be destroying that type of competition. You'd be like, oh, it's a non-Power 5 school. Well, guess what? He was still a monster. He did what he was supposed to do. His one test this season was supposed to be against Florida State, but we all know how that turned out. Florida State ended up having one of the worst offensive lines in college football, so it was quite unfortunate. I think he has a lot of defensive line alignment versatility. He can, whether it's a 3-4 or a 4-3, you could kick him inside on third downs. The guy, he gets to the quarterback. He also dropped back 81 times in coverage this year, and he did quite well. So, fun fact there, he had the highest pass rushing grade of anyone in this class behind Chase Young. AJ Epinesa, he was slow out the blocks this season, right? But he finished strong with 8.5 sacks in his final 6 games. He effortlessly controls the point of attack and is quick at processing, whether, attack or stay put, making him real stout against the run and disruptive against the pass. The combine, it wasn't kind to him. It wasn't kind by any means, but I think he can. All it really changed was my perception of what system he can, or what scheme he could play in. I don't think he can know, or not even what scheme he could play in. I used to think he had the flexibility to play as a stand-up 3-4 rusher. I no longer think that's the case. I think he's probably ideal for a 4-3. And then Chase Young, he's number 1. We all knew that. He's a freak. I mean, what more can you say than that? The guy, he's on the top of everybody's boards. He had 16.5 sacks this last season, and that was while missing 2 games. He won over 33% of his pass rush snaps, and really, to put that in perspective, if you're winning about 20%, you're pretty darn good. But that's it for the video. Go ahead and do the YouTube thing. It's always much appreciated, much obliged. Be sure to be on the look for other content. Remember, the link is in the description below if you want to join us in that Zoom discussion panel that we're going to be doing. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.